Welcome to the Women in Vinyl podcast with Jen DiEugenio, founder of Women in Vinyl, and contributor Robin Raymond. This podcast facilitates conversations with those working in the vinyl record industry to educate, demystify, and diversify the vinyl community.
This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream.
Thanks for joining us on episode 48 of the Women in Vinyl podcast. You just heard Lucid by Toronto-based Witch Prophet off her new remix EP, Gateway Experience Club Mix, dropping February 16th. Find more at www.heartlakerecords.ca. On this episode, we talk with Nina Smith, whose career began in a local independent music store on the weekends, later becoming a part-time employee to store owner. She has worked with numerous musical artists, visual artists, authors, small businesses, and nonprofits in marketing. She is also the liaison of the F.A.M.S Coalition. F.A.M.S, Forever a Music Store, is a collective of independently Black-owned record stores throughout the country. F.A.M.S was founded in 2021 by D. Tobago Benito to shed a light on Black-owned indie retail music stores and to celebrate their contribution to the music industry while also servicing our communities. All year round, and in particular during Black History Month, we want to shine a light on F.A.M.S and the amazing work they are doing. Follow, share, and support your local record store. Enjoy. So excited to talk about F.A.M.S today. To start, can you tell us a little bit about you and how you found your way to records?
Oh, yes. So long story short, I was about 16 years old, started working in a local record shop on the weekends, Third World Records and Tapes in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a Black-owned independent record store that had about 12 locations in the Atlanta metro area.
Wow.
So started working part-time, moved to full-time, to store manager, to district manager, and ended up owning one of the locations after the owner decided that he no longer wanted to be a part of the business. And since I had worked for him for so long, he gave me first option to buy. And it was an opportunity and a deal that I just couldn't refuse. So that was my start in the music industry, always working in a record store. And when I owned my store, I was part of a local independent, local coalition called Secure in the Atlanta metro area. So that's how I kind of got started in the music industry.
That's awesome. Were you just like such a record enthusiast when you were a teenager that you were like, I have to work here, give me immediately a job?
To be honest, I just needed a job in high school.
I love that. Was it,
I needed a job in high school and it was fun and I did like music, and it just turned into so much more.
Yeah. I mean, the music business is sneaky that way. It's funny. But I mean, like, was it difficult for you as a woman to get a job at a record store? Because that's one thing that we always kind of like run into and question and whatever, because we find that the woman's experience, shared experience, and the non-binary experience collectively is like not that positive in a record store. So how was it when you were a teenager?
It wasn't hard for me, and I would say that the relationship with the owners, who was a husband and wife at the time, did have a relationship with my mom.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was kind of like, I need a job. Can I work on the weekends? And they were very, accepting to bringing younger people in and showing them the business and working with them. So I kind of was fortunate in that I had a good, group of people working for that was open to it.
That's great.
How long did you
I love
own
it.
the shop for?
I purchased the shop. I worked for them for maybe almost 20 years before I owned it. I took it over in 1990. Let me see, my son was born in 97. In 97, I think he was 6 months. Yeah, 97. And until about, I closed it in 2004.
Wow.
And I just unfortunately during that time, there was so much going on in the music industry, with music sales, the bootlegging, the downloading, and I just couldn't, survive it. So I made a decision to close it.
Yeah.
Yeah, understandable. Are any of the locations still around? That was a lot of locations.
Yeah, no kidding.
Unfortunately, no,
Wow.
not in Atlanta. Actually, he started to sell off the locations, and the location that I purchased was the last one. But there are still some, cool record stores in Atlanta that's been around for some years. It's just that particular company, Third World Records and Tape. When I purchased, I changed the name to Music Vibration. No longer exists.
Well, and so now with FAM, so what was the impetus to start that and what was involved in that process?
So Tobago, who is the president, Tobago Benito, he's also the owner of DBS Sounds, is the president. And several years ago, I want to say in 2020, I came around in 2021, 2022. Michael Kurtz and Record Store Day thought that there was a void in the industry with a coalition of Black-owned stores. There are three other major coalitions, but there wasn't any Black-owned stores that were a part of these coalitions. And so basically, he thought that it would be a good idea. And somewhere along the lines, Tobago kind of took the charge to work with it and get it off the ground. Tobago and I had a relationship from both being store owners in Atlanta. So as he was building this, he kind of asked me to help him out for a while. That I said I'd give him a few months to do some things, and that's kind of turned into 2 years now. So I just came in to kind of help with some things because of my prior experience with record stores and coalitions. And I'm still here, and working with FAMS to continue to grow it and make sure that it's a thriving organization within the industry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was looking at the website because I know that it was sort of announced at Record Store Day Camp. And I didn't realize sort of when it started. So your mission is to celebrate music and its artists by being an intermediary between indie music retail stores and music labels. So how does that work exactly? And are there campaigns that people can get involved with?
Yes. So we have several campaigns that we have that people can get involved with. And our main agenda is to provide a platform for Black-owned record stores to come together and support each other, right? So we want to help preserve and promote the music, cultural Black music as well, and increase the visibility of these stores. So we have, different things, initiative, marketing campaigns, cross promotions, mentorship, scholarships that organizations and individuals can get involved in helping the FAMS Coalition.
How many stores are involved?
So we currently have 15 stores that are part of the FAMS Coalition. There are many other Black-owned music stores nationwide. There was a time where there were hundreds of music stores. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And that's one of our missions, is to make sure that there are Black-owned stores and to help open Black-owned stores in some of these major markets. We feel that there's a void of these stores in our communities and major cities. So one of our goals is to get more stores open in some various markets, key markets, music markets.
What would those markets be? Like Los Angeles, New York, Detroit, Chicago?
Yeah, Detroit definitely is one of the Midwest. We're kind of lacking. You can use some more in Texas. We have stores in California. We have Chicago, we have Florida, we have Minnesota, but there are definitely a lot of void. And so we're focusing on some of those areas and looking to expand the reach of the Black-owned stores.
How are you going into those communities and saying like open record stores? Like, are you just going to places that have maybe general music stores and suggesting, vinyl or?
So it's part of our mission. So we have a huge agenda to support either existing stores to expand or to help those who are interested in opening a store. So with the support of partners, whether they are labels, distribution, or other organizations, this is part of our mentoring program, right? Where they come in and support these stores to open in these markets, to make sure that they're successful and that they have the resources that they need to thrive, whether that's PR, social media, inventory, equipment, point of sale systems, right? To get these stores open and thriving in the community as well. So we have looked at where there's a void of stores in the top market cities. Yep. We did that on last year. And so now and I don't have it exactly in front of me, but we have top markets that we're looking at and saying, this is where we probably should go first.
That's great. I mean, I know that there's no real like roadmap for how to open a store. So.
Right. Yeah. And it changes, right? It's just like any other business model today. And that's why we have this mentoring program. We even say we have stores like VIP Music in California, the world famous VIP, everybody VIP
yep.
Music, right? And then we have a store in Jackson, Mississippi, that's fairly new. I want to say 10 years, that's kind of still new in the industry. So they may work together. They may partner each other and let each other know from VIP telling some tried and true methods that work and a younger store bringing in some new ideas, right? So with that mentorship, we have that within our coalition, but then we also have professionals from the industry to come in and say, hey, here's some areas that can improve, or here's some changes that can make, or here's some resources that can help you get to where you're trying to go.
It may seem obvious that representation is important, but why is it important to have, and why did Michael Kurtz think that was important to have a coalition of Black owned record stores? I mean, was anybody trying to spearhead it before Michael Kurtz kind of was the guy that was like, hey, you guys should do this?
Well, in the past, there have been several Black-owned record store coalition, but as those stores closed, then those coalitions went away. And from my understanding, I think all of this came back around during 2020 after the George Floyd incident, and everybody was looking at, what are we not doing or what can we do better, right? And, with these Black-owned record stores having such an impact in our communities, and I don't know, I don't want to speak for Mike and say, what did he think and thought, but I'm sure the conversation came up. Like, what are we doing with these stores that are in these communities that's facing challenges or social injustice? And what can we do to make things better? And we all know that, as businesses come together, work together, provide a platform to support each other as, various challenges take place. It reminds me of like during the civil rights,
Sure.
Record stores became a place that people could go and talk about what was going on in the world, and they became a gathering place.
Right.
And so I think, that's part of it. F.A.M stores and indie Black-owned store face different challenges. Our communities face different challenges. And, African American music has made such an impact in the history of America.
Yep.
It's influence from, style to entertainment to, merging the community. It's very important that there's a platform that talks about these issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you need to be a Record Store Day store to be a part of the coalition?
Not a part of the F.A.M.S Coalition, no. And not all of our stores are a part of Record Store Day.
That's good for people to know, I think, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can be a part of a thing without being a part of the other thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's super important.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, the big pink elephant in the room, I mean, how did the Luminate decision to not pull all of the stores in America impact the way that F.A.M.S might have been approaching some markets? Because going from 1,500 stores to 72 arbitrarily decided stores to be reporting centers, are any of your stores in the coalition represented by the Luminate study now?
It's the way it's affecting the industry as a whole, and independent retailer is definitely affecting F.A.M.S as well.
Yeah.
For several years, and I can, attest to this, as during my time that I've been with F.A.M.S, that was one of the top things that I was actively working on to try and get these stores signed up with Luminate. So I understand firsthand the struggle of making this an easy process, right? And now all of this just happened, within the last 2 months. So, only time will tell where we will land. But there's still a lot of work to be done there. I think the whole process could have been handled differently and should have been handled differently, right? There's definitely a lack of representation from all stores,
Right.
and definitely these Black-owned stores, our music, we carry a lot of music. I think about, when I was young and working at a record store, it was the place to go to discover new music, and these shops, provide a platform of music that wasn't heard on the radio or mainstream stores didn't know about and carry. You could go there and buy this music. And so you have artists that's selling a lot of music that nobody knows about and not getting tracked, and so are developing artists as well. So it's interesting. I think we all are trying to wait and see and figure out what's going to happen with this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but it's a mess.
It's a super mess.
It
That's
is.
that's the word for sure. I mean, they definitely missed everyone with their consultations on perhaps maybe pulling the trigger on this for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, as being the only Canadian in the room too, is there Canadian representation in F.A.M.S? Do you have any Canadian stores?
We do not.
Oh. Because I mean, I know that there's definitely some Black-owned record stores in Toronto for sure.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find their information. I'll pass it on to you for sure.
Definitely. This year is the well, I don't want to say the first year because I don't know if that's true, but we are about to have a short window of applications for new stores becoming a member of FAMS, like in the next 30 days or so.
Oh, great.
So,
I mean,
you
yes,
know,
send us that info. We will send it out
Yeah,
far
we'll
and
share
wide.
it.
Absolutely. Totally.
yeah, absolutely. I will make sure you get all that information. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if there's any ways that we can help you, you just say the word, ma'am. We're happy.
Thanks.
Of course. Oh my gosh. That's
Well,
it. The very least that we can do.
yeah, and from your perspective, what do you think is needed to see some change and more diversity in the industry? Are there some things that you think would help us get there?
Yeah, the whole thing with FAMS is right, having this platform to advocate for Black-owned stores, right? So in every area, we need, more diversity and inclusion. And, I like to use the term leveling the playing field. There are some disparities there. And I think together we can work on those. And for whatever reason, that's the case. Sometimes it's different for, different areas. But the more we make people aware of FAMS, right? The more we share and tell people about it, whether that's inside the industry or on the consumer side, and send our friends and family to shop and support there. But support from the label, support from distribution, support from organizations, just like this, what you all are doing. This is awesome, right? Partnership of our marketing campaigns, of our initiatives, all of that helps. And there's nothing that's too small. Everything, whether big or small, makes a big impact. So there's so many. I think it's the support. It's to continue to have the conversation. It's to let people know that these stores are here. There should be much more. There should be more collaboration. And I think if we begin to work on those things and work together, it'll be for the greater good of everybody.
Yeah, totally. Have you partnered with any artists too? Like, are there any like high level artists that are advocates of FAMS as well?
Yes, yes, we have. And I'm thinking off the top, I know last year we did an awesome collaboration with Robert Glasper,
Okay.
and Concord Records, for a community event. And it was nice. We did a whole campaign. Each store did a community event, whether they wanted to talk about mental illness or homeless or whatever. All the stores hosted some type of event in their stores, right?
Cool.
So that was a big collaboration. Killer Mike is a big fan of FAMS.
Awesome.
So he's a big supporter of ours. And when there are things taking place in stores or anything else, he try to do what he can. So we do. There is always great to have more.
Totally.
And even Rhino Records last year for was that last year? Maybe 2 years ago, for Black History Month, did an amazing campaign with us with Black artists, and did a mural that went on to win an award and some other things. So there are some things that are taking place and that we are collaborating with, and that's a good thing about Forums Forming, right? So it's creating these opportunities and these platforms to push us out further and to make people more aware of us.
Yeah, that's an incredible campaign. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too with the label tie-in because, I don't see a lot of, I guess, like maybe it's just not as noticeable, but there's, hip hop and rap nowadays being pressed to vinyl. I don't see that as much come through. And so I think that the representation from the label side may help some of that as well, to kind of be reborn on the medium.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're seeing now with this the vinyl, right? It's all coming back full circle.
Mhm.
And at first I had to think like, what's the big deal with some of this music coming back out on vinyl? But I thought I was like, when it first came out, it was on CD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going
The
back and getting a lot of
90s
stuff from the
and the early
90s. Yeah.
2000s. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean, like, I work in a record store that has like the probably the largest amount of used records in Canada. And I mean, everybody comes through. I mean, Shadows come through, and like a bunch of uh Fabulous Negrito came through last year when he was in town, which was pretty awesome. I mean, but like the amount of 12 inches that we have on our one wall is so crazy, and it's just getting depleted constantly because like those record like 12-inch jams are not being made anymore. And
Mhm,
like there's like a complete like miss with like banger singles
mhm,
because they're just not it's not happening anymore, which is like pretty sad. But I mean,
right.
everything's getting remastered and like spread over two LPs and whatever. Like our hip hop section is pretty crazy because that's kind of like our niche market in my town. But yeah, I mean, they're just like there's got to be like a conversation about price points with some stores too, right?
Mhm.
Because like when we're talking about like disparity in wages and income and economies and things like that, like it's not like we need to make like a whole like budget like record section, but it would be nice if the labels kind of like collaborated to make like, yeah, here's a 1 LP version rather than 2 LP version. It still sounds really good, but it's like a better price point, like a more affordable price point, so that we can, yeah, nourish these markets and nourish these incredible like new artists. Like Denzel Curry, just like he when he just got off tour, he took all of the stuff from his tour that he did direct to consumer and dumped it all with Universal. So then we were able to get a
Mhm,
bunch of his direct to consumer stuff, which was pretty cool. But
mhm.
like, I mean, I don't know, like what are the ways that we can like as manufacturers and stuff, like how can we help, like what do you think we can do to like make an impact with respect to like economy disparity and like price points and things like that?
Well, we definitely have had those communications, and that's a great thing. We try to get as many stores attending Record Store Day summer camp as well as Music Biz annual conference, right? So let's go back to what you were saying about the releases of music. That was a huge topic at summer camp last year, right? And I know Michael Kurtz and Carrie
Mhm.
work really hard to try to get more urban titles released for Black Friday, Record Store Day, Black Friday, as well as for Record Store Day.
Yep.
And we did see more, hip hop releases as well. So there's a constant conversation, and we even met with Def Jam
Awesome.
last year at Music Biz, and it was like, hey, what titles do you all want to see?
Mhm.
And some of that did happen. So
Oh, good.
there's a start of it happening, and I think it's constant communication. Even now, we're running a promotion with Rhino Records. They just re-released the Keith Sweat debut album and Eric Benet on vinyl, right? And it's all over social media on the FAMs, and we asking people their favorite songs, and to hear these people in these comments, the memories of these songs,
Yeah.
like they know where they were when
Yeah,
they heard
definitely.
it. I was at my uncle's wedding.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
we just ordered that record. We just ordered the Keith Sweat record. So I'm like, it's gonna be hype when it gets in. I'm stoked.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, the excitement level of this record being coming back out on vinyl, and the introduction of the people who really are too young to really know about it when it came out, but it's an album that you kind of constantly hear, and it has this whole new group of people.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So again, the conversation is there.
Good.
We're trying to have more with the labels, with distribution, and say, hey, this is what people are asking for. We're on the ground level, we're direct to consumer. We know what they want, you know. We can tell you real quick without you have to wait for data to come out. We know what they want, you know, as well as, you know, trying to figure out this price point. You know, it's hard because people are coming in and having to make decisions on, do I buy one or two, or can I buy one at all? Is it grocery or gas? You know, but this makes me feel good and I enjoy it. It's not cheap, you know, and I don't know, you know, what it would take to bring these price points down. But I do believe that's something we, the industry seriously has to look at as well.
Well, and
Absolutely.
like with the membership that you have in FAMS already, is there is it mostly like new vinyl in the record stores, or do they have a used component as well? Because I mean,
Most
go ahead.
most stores have used as well.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I mean, and I'm sure you know, it's a huge department right now.
Absolutely.
You know, and part of that is because of estates or people who own those records are, you know, no longer with us. But part of it is that's the only way you can get it is you find a used copy.
Yeah, because it's not actively being made. Exactly. And that's exactly it. I mean, and like, I'm so glad that somebody is talking to Def Jam, truly, but like, not that it's not like some old white audiophile guy being like, oh yeah, I really liked this one song that one time. Like, I'm so glad that actually like community leaders that are involved in the actual spaces where the music gets created are having this conversation. That makes me feel way better.
Listen, we're trying, right? We're trying. Now, if they're listening, if it would happen, we're not sure, but we're at the table and trying to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, we'll throw our weight behind you too. So whatever that means. A bunch of girls talking in that same room.
Right.
I mean, where would you like to see the newest store open? Like, what does that market look like for you? Where's the hot market that you're like, we definitely need a place here?
I think Detroit is Michigan, the Midwest, for sure. We could use some more in the Carolinas and Alabama.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, absolutely Alabama can use some more stores. That's what I could think of off the top of my head.
Before the application form comes out, what can people do to get involved? Should they reach out to you directly through the website?
Yes, they can reach out to me directly. You mean as far as stores who are interested?
Or anybody, really?
Oh, yes. Yes, they can reach out to me directly. They can email me. I'm Nina at FAMScoalition.com, or you can find that on our website, FAMScoalition.com. And our IG, just in case, is at FAMS Coalition.
Well, Robin, do you have anything else, or you want to ask our 7-inch question?
Yeah, I mean, I have tons of questions. I mean, I always do. I always do. But it's always, I mean, it's always about, you know, trying to give, you know, Nina as much time and space to talk about the things that she wants. Is there anything burning in the industry that you want to talk about, Nina? Like, besides this price point thing, like, how are you feeling about records in general? How are you feeling about the industry?
I'm feeling good in the sense of the surge of physical product, right? And we're starting to see more and more about the artists talk about how much they get paid off streams. And when you compare that to physical sales, you know, it's like they wondering, why did we do this? So I'm excited about the physical stores and the brick and mortar. I'm excited about the experience of shopping for music. I love the collaboration of the arts, of the singers, the artists, from the artwork cover to the fashion designer. I'm loving that. And I would like to see the industry as a whole, especially the records labels and distribution go back to supporting physical stores.
Mhm.
You know, there's so much money put into digital and streaming and all of those things. You know, we are finding that artists are back to, you know, doing in stores and loving on their fans. So I think as we continue to look at this industry, we have to, at the end of the day, right? We're trying to sell some records. Artists are trying to sell some records, stores, labels are trying to sell some records. So sometimes what was old worked.
Yes.
And was true and has its advantages. And not saying, you know, I know the era we live in now in streaming, but I believe that record stores are just as important. Just as important. And I think, you know, the support from everyone for these stores who, in the beginning, you know, laid the groundwork and created the opportunities for developing artists, the local bands, or, you know, especially in the Black-owned record stores where there may have been mainstream outlets that didn't stock product or order inventory. These stores did that and providing an opportunity to come in and meet fans in stores or to, you know, do a set, what have you, in a store. So, you know, that's something I would love. That's me personally. That's Nina.
I'm so with you for all of that. No, I think
I would love to see that happen. It's such a vibe, right? It's such a vibe and an experience. And, you know, even now to hear about some of the stores in stores and to see how fans, you know, are standing in line and, you know, to meet the artists. And it's just wonderful. So, you know,
tangible experience. Absolutely.
Right.
No, I love it. I think that's great. I mean, it's nice to see somebody excited for a change because a lot of the times it's just we get I think sometimes we get a little trapped in the bad stuff. So it's nice to be able to, you know, celebrate the wins and talk about that kind of stuff, that like why we're all still in it, because we do love it. We love it so much.
Right. But music make us feel good, right? You know, at the end of the day, the music make us feel good. So, you know, we all know the industry we have, there will always be work to do.
Yep.
You know, and I think as we work together, support each other, share ideas, listen to one another, that all of us working together, like I said earlier, it's just for the greater good of the industry.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right. Well, I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast before, Nina. I hope that you're a raging fan.
I did. I was like, let me listen to them and see what's going on over here.
Yeah, you're like,
what am I in for?
What have I signed up for? The Canadian one is crazy. So we
have a lot of fun though. Lots of fun.
Oh yeah, we have the best time. We could live stream this as like stay on stream all day. I'm sure people would love that. So we have this one weird question that we ask at the end of every episode.
Oh, don't do it to me. What is? Is this the A side and the B side?
You got it. That's exactly it. It's the 7-inch question.
But I'm proof that I listen.
I love it. I'm here for it. Yeah, so we always ask everybody, it's tougher than the Desert Island question because it's just one 7-inch record. If you could make yourself a custom bootleg and you could put anything on the A side and anything on the B side, what would that record look like?
So it's so hard, right? It's so hard. I don't even know if I have an answer. It's so hard.
That's okay.
So I mean, one side would be a cross between a Michael Jackson, a Prince, right?
Okay. All right.
And then the B side would be Stevie Wonder, and Aretha Franklin.
All right. See, I mean, depending on what songs you pick, like I could make that 7. I could make
Hey,
that.
it's
I
an
could make
EP
that.
instead. I'm down.
That's fine. You didn't say it had to be at 45. I could make that record at 33. No problem. I think that's fantastic. What's your favorite Michael Jackson song?
What is my favorite Michael Jackson? Well, the Thriller album is my favorite.
That was the first record that I ever bought.
Yeah, the Thriller.
I love that.
And I was cleaning used 7 inches this weekend at the store, and I found Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. So I had to play that in the shop. And then,
oh, wow.
And then I found some Jamaican pressings of like some crazy reggae. So I had to play those too. So,
but listen, those songs are great cleanup records.
Mm-hmm.
Like cleaning up, listening to it Saturday morning. Oh, yes.
All right. So Michael Jackson and Prince, we got that. Aretha and Stevie on the Beat. That's a solid record. Great job.
Of course. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh. Well, Nina,
thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Incredible.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. And real quick, I just want to, because I get this all the time, really quick. I want to reiterate, people always say, how can they support FAMS, right? So definitely purchase your music from our stores. You go to the coalition, to the website, there's a list of participating stores. Help spread the word about FAMS. I gave the IG, just look us up, FAMS Coalition. Tell your friends, spread us on social media. Attend the store events. We have workshops, different educational events that takes place in the stores. And, you can volunteer your time or resources with us. If you want to help with the event, provide graphics, if you're good at PR, grant writing, donating equipment, anything like that. And just partner with us with our campaigns and our initiatives. We are opening the application for our very first college scholarship this month to a college-bound student.
Awesome.
And we have, mentoring workshops that we like to send the stores to. So there are, like I said, various ways you can reach out to me directly with anything, with any questions or opportunities. And that's how you can support us.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Is there merch? That's my question. Is there merch? Can I buy a t-shirt?
Yes, you can. You can buy a t-shirt.
Awesome.
You can buy a t-shirt. I have a t-shirt. And we do have a line of merch coming this year.
Right.
Right now, at the moment, we just have t-shirts, but we also have hats and hoodies coming.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Real soon. So yes.
We'll link all of that in show notes as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Awesome,
Well,
Nina.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you again.
Great.
Thank you all. You are the best. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
That's right. Well, thank you again, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Join the conversation on social media at Women in Vinyl. We want to hear from you. Shoot us a message for topics you want to hear, feedback, and more to info@womeninvinyl.com. Huge shout out and thank you for all our supporters, affiliates, and sponsors like Marshall Headphones. Visit our website, womeninvinyl.com, for ways to get involved, and you can always contribute to the education, demystification, and diversification of the vinyl industry by donating at womeninvinyl.com/donate. See you next time.
This episode has been brought to you by Women in Vinyl and Red Spade Records. Thank you for listening. Please remember to subscribe, and you can always contact us directly by visiting www.womeninvinyl.com.